Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. And today I want to talk to you guys about why Boruto being captured makes for a rather interesting bit of character writing for an OG Naruto character who has been made relevant again in the story, with that character, of course, obviously being Ino, which is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, we're going to be taking a look at why Boruto's capture is more important than you might think, and why this moment has potential to further shake things up in terms of moving the story forward. So as we all know, Boruto, he came back to Konoha for the third time in 3 days and proceeded to save the village for a second time since returning. The first time he saved the village from Ko's attack with his Ten Tails army, and the second time he saved Konoha from Hidari, who is in the process of making Konohamaru get a Sarutobi Lives Matter t-shirt, and Sarada was about to have the Uchiha clan be officially extinct before Boruto showed up and saved the day. Buried beneath this was the fact that Boruto being arrested and brought in for questioning means that he was now brought in front of the Hokage, which was Shikamaru, and that's important because of the connection to Ino. While we as the audience know that Ino has been made aware of the fact that the memories of Boruto and Kawaki everyone has, they've been switched around, and we as the audience know that Boruto's telling the truth. I do think it's important to take note of one very important thing, which is that Boruto, while he did tell Shikamaru the truth, he didn't fully win over Ino during that time, and it can be super easy to overlook that because Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, it has been full steam ahead for the most part. It has been barely taking its foot off the gas, and each time we expect it to, the story, it just hits another gear. It's like watching those Fast and the Furious movies and they are shifting gears like 900 times when it's really a 5-speed car that they're driving. And basically the story's telling readers, go ahead and catch up, fam. I think we stand a chance right here, this being the case. But the prospect of Ino reading Boruto's mind, it is something that I've seen people raise in the comment section. So I do want to address a few things here before we ultimately go into why I don't think this has the full impact that some of you guys are expecting, but I do think this is a cool moment that does need to happen. So reading Boruto's mind, Ino, by doing this, in theory, assuming she's even able to read the memory of someone who is Sasuke, which we can't say with certainty that she can, and even if she does, it begs the question, since Momoshiki's soul is attached to Boruto and their thoughts have merged subconsciously, would that mean that she would be reading Momoshiki's thoughts as well? Which I would hate to read his thoughts, but assuming that she can, I think people have the wrong idea here. Ino's not going to read his mind and see all these memories that go directly against the memories that she has and say, my God, he really is Naruto's son, and Omnipotence gets reversed. That's not how that works. Omnipotence by design is supposed to make people who have doubts about what it is they're seeing feel the pressure to eventually overlook the things that are alarming them. Their memories, even when they figure out the truth, they stay swapped. The same way that Sasuke saw Boruto with his headband, those big blue eyes, that bright blonde hair, and was still going, yeah, I think I made a mistake by helping this guy. But for Sasuke, he was able to look at his daughter and her passionate plea to save Boruto and go, fine, I'll help him because I trust my daughter. And Momoshiki was like, what the hell is this right here? And we told Momoshiki this is main character plot armor bullshit. For Amado, it was seeing his ninja tech inside of Kawaki's body. For Shikamaru, it was ironically hearing Amado, someone who he hates and distrusts, openly boasting and bragging that he already knew their memories are altered, and this is what makes Shikamaru cement himself as #1 hater, as well as him realize that, hey, Sarada was telling the truth the whole time. However, doing all of this, there was one person who was not won over throughout the whole thing, which was Ino. Multiple times in chapters 6 and 7, which I strongly encourage people, just go back and reread. Once you get past a certain number of chapters, like whenever a new Boruto volume comes out, go back and reread the story. You'll be amazed what you see. And when Ino was linking Shikamaru and Boruto together, and Boruto was explaining to Shikamaru what happened with Omnipotence, Ino more than once was shown questioning if Boruto was telling the truth. At one point, she even flat out called it a crazy theory on the part of Boruto, and she was questioning how Shikamaru, someone with this big 900 IQ level big brain, could even think something that illogical. That's not something that's done here by mistake, especially the questioning faces that she was making when Shikamaru said that he believed Boruto and that Boruto would need to have Shikamaru operate under the assumption their lives have been switched in his mind, and Shikamaru's like, you gotta be a rogue ninja and I'll help you out from the distance without actually having to help you out because I can't compromise my position as Hokage. I think the thing we have to keep in mind here is that while Ino would likely at some point during Boruto's stay in Konoha is probably gonna read his mind, which as of this recording, this is before the official teaser, so if it does end up happening, she reads his mind, great, we got ahead of it. If it doesn't happen, video still stands. But this is one of those times I believe it makes sense for her to step in and read his mind narratively. Not just for her own doubts to be silenced, but also most importantly, her love for Shikamaru is something that I don't see enough people bring up when discussing this topic. Obviously, when I say love, I don't mean in the way that Tamari and Shikamaru are in love, where Shikamaru looks over at Ino and thinks, I better lock those Hokage office doors for the next 10 minutes, tell Tamari I'm gonna be home late, and hopefully Sai doesn't come in. But rather, this is the love between two people who are closer than friends, and the love that they have for each other, and most importantly, the love that they have for their sensei Asuma. All jokes aside, it's that Asuma part that I want you to focus on. Even though by this point in the timeline, Ino's 36 years old, it's been 19 and a half years since Asuma died, which wow, that means that Tamari's 40. His dying words to Team 10, they are still there, with him telling Ino specifically to look after Shikamaru and to look after Choji. The fact that she was drawn as having a hint of doubt when it came to Boruto's story means that at some point, this whole thing is going to come back up later on, where she felt as if for no other reason than to make sure that Shikamaru wasn't making a mistake, because she's looking after Shikamaru on behalf of Asuma. She's going to want to read Boruto's mind. I do think you stand a chance that when she does read his mind, she not only has her doubts that she has inside her head where she's been drawn going, are you sure you want to believe this? I think those get silenced, but I do think that there's potential she ends up being a potential tide turner in the narrative here if we go this route. Again, if I was an editor, I'd say allow her to read his mind. That Yamanaka clan's hidden jutsu to read memories is something that would allow her to operate the same way as Amado seeing his ninja tech in Kawaki's body and know that something's wrong. It's what woke Amado up to say his memory's been altered. Ino is already aware of the possibility, one that she called a crazy theory, but seeing her with her own mind, that it's all messed up and that her memory has been switched, it does great things to the tension. On one hand, she has the cover of knowing that Omnipotence, it is indeed real, that Boruto wasn't lying, and that if she acts like she's ignoring what she saw in her jutsu, it won't be questioned. They're passing out photos of baby Boruto, and it didn't change anything. Neither did Kawaki using ninja tech because he has the body of a cyborg and he has Ishiki's Kokugan Eye. Hell, having Ishiki's chakra instead of Momoshiki's, it didn't change anything. So this wouldn't be anything that gets questioned. However, if she is too obvious or she's not subtle enough, now all of a sudden you have Amado who knows how her jutsu works. He could pick up on the fact that she's not being truthful and start connecting other dots, which puts Shikamaru in danger. If for no other reason than to potentially curry more favor with Kawaki, then you have Ada and Kawaki, two very watchful and observant people who might raise eyebrows. With Shikamaru playing such a high-stakes game, Ino is a chess piece on the board right now. He doesn't have full control over, but to Ino's credit, she is more than capable as a shinobi. But I do think there is some risk here, but the risk is good in this sense because it's conflict. You want to yuck things up when it comes to writing because everything can't go super smooth. When it does, it sucks the air out your story and it comes across as being unbelievable. I think Boruto 2 Blue Vortex depicting Ino as having some doubts but not going against trusting Shikamaru does offer a bridge for more conflict, but I do think you could just easily go the route of Kawaki pushing out Boruto interrogated without the need to have his memory read, which makes sense under two circumstances. If Boruto goes in willingly and answers questions, they aren't going to feel the need to resort to a measure such as that, a draconian measure, which goes back to the suspension of disbelief, where there are certain aspects of fiction that require you to go, okay, yeah, I'm not even going to ask why X and Y wasn't done. I'm just going to roll with the narratives telling me. The other thing is that the story has already shown us that Konoha, when it comes to having Boruto pay for the murder of Naruto, they've been illogical since day one, ever since Omnipotence was casted. Nobody has stopped to dig deeper beneath the surface, even with Sarada doing the stuff she did. The response to everything was to find Kawaki, and if he resists, they were going to kill him. This is before Omnipotence. There wasn't an in between. And had Kawaki not used Omnipotence, there's a strong chance that that would have happened, or we run into the scenario that Kashin Koji foresaw, which is that Code finds Kawaki, beats the brakes off of him, and the world ends. But the point is that at this point we are right now, post Omnipotence, and 3 years later, people still want Boruto's head. Because again, it's post Omnipotence, and the memories of Boruto and Kawaki, they've been swapped in everybody's mind. So there's a chance they're not even gonna ask the questions on Naruto. They're just gonna want this guy's head, no questions asked. But it'll come to how they proceed after he explains what goes on with the shinju, which I do think ultimately is what's gonna get him off the hook. But again, pistol in my head, I think the smart move to do is to have his mind read for Ino's own sanity's sake. That's the right move editorially, but I don't ultimately think this is where the narrative's going to take us, though. It's not as clear cut as an in-game move in the way that you click on this anime explain video on the left would be, or this Naruto explain video on the right, or the fact that Shinju DNA is love, Shinju DNA is life.